Mic check, mic check. Yeah, we in the building. We back in the building. Oh man. People, this is radio. Radio 1, 2. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna share our screen. And we're gonna get right back to it. Making big noses are a reptilian trait, part 2, etc. part 2. So we're gonna pick up exactly where we left it off at. Let's go. Can we get some music? All right, that's cool. Appreciate that. Now, let's get the screen up, find out where we was at. Oh, yes. The remnants of ancient illustrations and depictions of people of a status not taught by mainstream media, who basically taught most of us growing up. And so that's what I'm doing. You could say it's banging on the beats daily, or you could, that's what General Seti would say. But you could say it's just, you know what I'm saying, putting patterns together. Either way, it's all, in glory to God. So, this is a rare thing. You don't see it. Rarely do you see it in movies. The movie Gabriel. What's the name of the dreadlock fallen angel? I forgot. Computer. What was the name of the fallen angel with dreadlocks in the movie Gabriel?
The fallen angel with dreadlocks in Gabriel is Samael, the leader of the Hellside Warriors.
Wow. So.
Right. Samael's got that intimidating look down pat with those dreadlocks and dark warrior vibe.
Do you remember what the color of the dreadlocks were?
I don't recall a specific shade, but Samael's dreadlocks look dark, likely black.
What else? How else does Samael look like to you?
Besides the dreadlocks, Samael has golden blonde hair, blue eyes, a square trimmed beard with a long scar, and a 6-foot build.
And what source is this again?
The details I gave come from the general Wikipedia entry on Samael, which covers his description in various sources. Want to learn more about Samael's origins in different religious and mythological traditions?
No, just repeat to me his description again.
Samael in Gabriel is portrayed as the fallen's leader with golden blonde hair, blue eyes, a square trimmed beard bearing a long scar, and a tall 6-foot build.
Repeat that.
Samael and Gabriel is the Fallen's leader with golden blonde hair, blue eyes, a square-trimmed beard bearing a long scar, and a tall 6-foot build.
And what source is this again?
That description comes from the general Wikipedia entry on Samael. Would you like me to find the specific Wikipedia section where this description appears?
Yes.
The description you asked about is in the lead section of the Wikipedia Sama article, which outlines his role and appearance.
And so what is his role and appearance? Tell me, computer, tell me his role.
Samael is the leader of the Fallen in Gabriel, the chief antagonist who commands Hell's forces to seize control of Purgatory and stop Gabriel's quest to restore the light.
All right. And where does the language of purgatory first show up? Computer, what's the origin of the word purgatory?
The word purgatory comes from late Latin purgatorium, a neuter form of purgatorius meaning a place of cleansing, which derives from the verb purgare, to purge or clean. It entered English in the Middle Ages, around 1200, via Anglo-French as purgatory.
Oh, wow. So that's why you got light and darkness. So, no. The movie Gabriel, dreadlocks. That's not it. Oh, there he was right there. So he was a fallen angel. And if y'all should see the movie Gabriel. You know, it's decent. It's a mind tricker though, because really it's a matter of perception on who is not the devil, but you know, because I don't know. I'll talk with him. I'll talk to somebody who's seen the movie about it, as opposed to trying to explain to y'all shit. Unless you've seen the movie. If you've seen the movie Gabriel from 2007, it's a whole thing, man. So he first show up, he had to fight this. Ain't nobody seen that movie. I'm gonna just close out. Right, back to topic. Mm. So it's a melanated history that's being hidden, especially about blonde haired, black skin, blue eyes, and red lip people. It's a combination, it's a pattern seen around the world. Around the world. But it's just a mystery because nobody teaches on it. And so here go a tapestry from Germany called The Wild Men and the Moors. And so I would say, why would you believe that you would accept information describing a tapestry like this to be white, racist, white orientated, and not change it? Like, they're not Moors, they're Israelites, right? And so the whole concept of kingdom, right? Like we saw earlier on the last video with Matamoros. And now that I think about it, somebody said something about Matamoros. I forgot to address that shit. But if I see Yo again, he should revisit that shit. Like what you said about Matamoros, my information on Matamoros is on point. And so what we saw in that picture was the castle in the background, and these same people was fighting, right? These same people was fighting who they were calling Moors. They were calling them Moors, but they was the same people. Like this is the ancestors of conquistadors and shit. So it's the same thing. Black people with castles being attacked by others. Right? That's the point. And so throughout Asia, you get to see that there is evidence that things wasn't racist. And blonde-headed, red-lipped, black-skinned people also was shown to be there. And here you could tell that it's a ruler level. It's a ruler level. It's a level of authority to these non-black, whatever have yous, you know what I mean, the different color. And so it's the same thing that we've been seeing once you know that the code is. And so to me, it looked like it was a willing code at first, and then the shit just got out of hand. And what I mean by that is that a negative code to it as opposed to a concealing code became what it was. And then you get the racist, what we call racist caricature, but it's really a white mask being put over everybody because we think white people got everything to do with everything. You know, they think so and everything. So here it is, where it's evidence that you had depictions of black people, man, that were doing things. They go to Black Cross. We was talking about that yesterday on how the Black Cross that represent the antenna, which represents for civilization. You see, and how they had coded in the idea without explaining who exactly is participating, who exactly is involved with it. So why would they hide a history of black people who own castles, black people that owned that had suits of armor? Like they always want to say it was Maurice was the only knight. That Maurice was the only knight. But this can't be true because you see castles and people in night suits now. I wonder what great minds like. I wonder what Sia Ducatia say about this statue right here. It's from Germany, I think, and I had never seen nothing like it. So both of these artifacts is from Germany. So if this constitutes civilization, having buildings, having armored suits, having it detailed, tailored, having statues, having a connection to monarchy, rulership, all those things are in place. So far, we described all those things, and so when we see images like this, and it's a white set of attackers versus a black set of defenders who have a castle because they defend in the castle. That means they pulled up to the castle, and the castle has a black queen and a black king. And there ain't no literature or storyline out there that speaks on such a thing. And so they might label it as the Crusaders versus the Moors or the Islamic Saracens and all this and that, but that's not the case. When you just look at the picture, you see a black man and a black woman in a struggle versus some white people. Right? Could be Europe, could be Genghis Khan. You got a nose on him. You got a nose on him. So those are black people with night suits and helmets on and thing. fighting against white people, y'all. A real race war. Like, where the hell this came from? This came from medieval Europe. Medieval Europe. That's how we know kings and queens and castles, like watching white people. That's how I grew up learning about knights. I was infatuated with the concept of knights. Like I would every time there was a library or a book section and shit, I would look for knights. The imagery of knights was I used to draw them. I used to try to draw them out the book. And draw a whole bunch of knights and shit. And then when I got older, it was ninjas. Like I was totally enamored with the concept of a ninja. Want to watch ninja movies, got ninja posters, got the ninja outfit, carried around a ninja sword, had a ninja star necklace. Ninja, you know what I'm saying? Look, this man got the nose of the Americans. Got the nose of the Americans. That's the American big nose of the dragon bloodline. Black dragon. Black dragon bloodline. You know what I'm saying? I know I make it seem easy, but it's not. It's not. This shit go back all the way to the you know what I mean? Look, big nose. That's how they was doing it, big nose. So we know this American, this is an American, if this is American source right here. These two pictures. Right. Now, this with the castle though. Where's that from? England, Europe, France, Germany. Big nose. Come on, man. That's American, and it proved Aboriginal America as the real ancestral lands, right? Where so-called Aborigines was and still is at. And so this could be anywhere in the world because look, they had posts up. Like that's Haiti's first flag on the left. Haiti's first flag was just a head with a nose like that. Big nose. Right? Rulership, real rulership was in Haiti. And it's a lie to say that day is hell on earth now. It's artificial. It's artificial. And so, look, you can't keep saying this is Maurice. This is not Maurice, man. This is a race war of some type that had happened already and was happening. And the way they telling it is like in increments or small parts. So not to say that it's an all-out war still. Right? And so they might say this is a story of when such and such and such and such happened. But I could disprove them, right? Because they're going to always call these people Moors. And that's not the case. That's an Israelite. That's an Israelite. That's an Israelite. So I mean, if somebody want to say that these people is Moors working on behalf of Israelites, I don't know if that's even proper. They take it there because you're assuming that these people ain't got the same thing under their helmets. So check it. Look, that's a lion. Look at the lion. I said the lion represent a people, a nation. You already know what I said. So now look, who they up against? They up against a bunch of you know what I mean, freshly grown up little, you know what I mean, little joints. And who knows who's behind the mask? Like it could be a black man behind the mask who trying to go against other black people, black on black crime. So yo sold out, you know what I mean? And had these white people got, you know what I mean, behind them and shit, and then they turn on him. You know how that go. But look, I'm gonna prove that. Look, here go another depiction, right? It's another artwork showing what appear to be black people defending themselves from white people trying to come at their castle. And so when you zoom in, you see that there's a black, it's a white bandana. You know what I'm saying? It's a white bandana. And that's a pattern we also see elsewhere. So now we could coordinate. We can coordinate patterns, and we can say, well, all right, this is the same type of people who got castles, right? And who was defending themselves from intruders attacking their castle. From what we've seen, this would that would represent, right? So I don't know how much truth people know about anything, but I know that we had traced them using this white headband, right? And so this concept of blue and gold, we see that with all the way back to the Pharaoh, right? The Pharaoh and the Freemasons use blue and gold. So then you have, right? Well, he got a scarf on too. He got a headband too. So Israelites, some Israelites, you know, I mean, not to say Israelites are one type of people, man, like, or who's real and who's not, but just the tradition in general of having a head wrap is an Aboriginal thing because that make it Karate Kid was really trying to brainwash people into thinking them headbands was like some karate shit. Remember the headbands? It's like you had to be able to get one of them headbands, a real official Karate Kid headband. A real official Karate Kid headband. That was the thing to have. You know, I had one, man. It was just too big. I couldn't wear it. Shit was too big. Shit. It might have been bootleg. I couldn't tell. Deity is deferred to. Godliness, protagonist. I rebuke the devil in the name of Jesus, man. So here goes some old pictures, right? That's showing these people with clothes and weapons and crowns on their head. And there's no history that I could think of that tells me, okay, this is how these people was dressed. This is the type of weapons they had, such and such. But someone could say that that's like almost like a, a sword. I don't know, man. I'm not even gonna say that. Let's go. Let's look at the cross. Look at the crown. So when we look at pictures from other places in the world, they got the melanated person doing things like cutting out people's heart. The prime was cutting it out, eating it, seasoning it. They probably looked at the white man or the non-black as a synthetic to, try out shit on, you know. So it's like it'd be like, you want to do human experiment and shit, then all right. Like we gotta let these criminals, you know what I'm saying, probably got pulled up on like that. Who knows what the context was, but concept of you know killing people do seem like it was something the gods used and communicated through imageries like this. And so remember we saw earlier with the blonde hair. So look, he got heads right here. Look. See, that's a that's the same person as this. Just is shown differently. And so you don't even see these people around no more. Like you don't even see them with, you don't even see people with like a little bit of blonde hair on them or something. Just like you don't see nobody like saying, yeah, the knights is real. It was a whole bunch of black knights and black castles. They went to war with, you know what I mean, with the white. It's like I ain't never heard no story like that. But we got the evidence because it lined up what America said all the way up to Haiti, it seemed. And Haiti is because Haiti's first flag is that on the left. And it's just like, okay, so the flag, not only is it a black head, which could be negative because of decapitated head, but it is also it got the nose like that. It's like, dang, they made sure to make the nose like that. That kind of look like a Beavis Butthead cat, though, real shit. Like they could have took that idea and did something to it. Because the Beavis and Butthead should be like a side profile of them. You know what I'm saying? And both of them is Asian. Both Beavis and Butthead is Asian. This is that Beavis got like some blonde hair and shit. Anyways, so look. So look, blonde. This the best picture. It's the best picture right here. So when they showed America, they always showed her as led by a black woman, and that's a matriarch, and that would mean that that was the rule of the world. God bless protect us. And so here go the pictures of America, other than the one we just seen, like this one right here. You see that? There's a whole bunch of shit going on. There's already castles here with cannonballs. And so when you're talking about like an invasion, people don't invade like that. The people defend from invasion with that. So it's a defense against invasion. And look in the background, look at all the buildings. Look at the buildings in the background. Those are Tartarian buildings, World Fair buildings, right? Look at that. That look like it got a little Asian flair to it. Look at all the buildings in the back. And this saying Montezuma. Montezuma, king of the Mexico. King of Mexico, Mexicanorum. Mexicanorum. Look at all the buildings in the back. How that makes sense, y'all. It makes sense because, yeah, just another day, man. So here it is. You got feathers, a feather headdress, a shield, and whatever, a weapon or whatnot. And then in the background, you got whole buildings. Interesting, man. Interesting. Now, they said it's an emblem of America. Published 1801. So look at that. That's the same as this, this, and this. Except these are different profiles that are alluding to the same matriarchal rulership. Because it's not just, oh, that's a person, that they're depicting a person that is just an everyday person playing the harp. They are always, when it came to art, always showing God somehow, a god, a goddess. And so it represents a land, a nation. And so you see how here go once again another depiction of them talking about America as a black woman. And then when you hear stories about Queen Khalifa and how the so-called author to those stories say that California, Queen Khalifa's island was an island of black women, right? Like her and all her women, they were black women. And they the ones that created the Amazonian swag, the original matriarchal situation is what that is. And so that go back throughout the days to where they was using the anamorphic method to describe the ancient ones, the ancient rulers. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why to this day you will see that these patterns will be found within each other symbol because they all just fractals. You know what I mean? They all just fractals where it's like, all right, look, here it is where they're saying the same thing, but in a different way because of the concept of the alligator. Right? Because the alligator or ruler, see the slave? Like, yeah, yo, the alligator, yo, look. So look at that. Look at that. This man is rich. she a poor child. She poor compared to this man. And so all right. So there's a consistency throughout this an unknown portrait of a Moorish king in Europe. So see, this is how I know that it's racist, right? Right? This is how we know that it's racist. An unknown portrait of a Moorish king in Europe. Now, if it's unknown, how do we know it's Moorish? Unless you're saying that because he's black, he's Moorish. And Moorish is another way of saying black. And so, an unknown portrait of a black king in Europe. And somebody wrote this, you know what I'm saying, and made this picture line up. And so they go Europe, they go the Americas in the middle, and they go China. And obviously that's not an ancient depiction. But there it is, black skin, red lips. It's a tradition. So you got basically the world, right? And when it comes to Africa, you have the Royal Company, African Royal Company, the Royal African Company, something like that. So the concept of Black Knight is mocked, and they use people, their own people, to mock it. Like this, the only time we have ever heard of a concept of a Black Knight on TV, right? Look, what's in the background? That's AI generated. From back in the days, that's AI generated. Huh. So they're saying that's Black Knight. They're not saying nothing about the Black Knight satellite. Right? Look at this type of relationship where the dude that's a knight, the so-called Black Knight, he got bejeweled armor on. Look at the gemstones that line up the different sections of his armor. So it ain't just armor for defense against heathens. This swag, it's real talk. Like it's really original. If somebody was trying to fake something, they'd make it, but they wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? They wouldn't have much detail in faking it. You know what I mean? And so look, he a dragon bloodline. Look, he got a head shaped like Usher. He got Orlando Brown head. You know what I'm saying? And so he the one taught them how to wear the gloves. But yo, you the one with the glove. Look, they got the gloves with serious business. Dealing with people that have reputation for not bathing and shit. Christ is like teaching them how to be clean. So the whole concept of hygiene, preserving one's hygiene and shit, that shit was definitely was science, man. Examples, there's some examples. They probably say they all St. Maurice. Some more examples. And so I'm just calling out the discrepancy. You know what I mean? That when they was doing all that racist TV show, sitcom, and all that other stuff, they also, let's not forget, racist on the depictions. You know, Jamon Hansu said he ain't getting no money. He broke his shit. And he played in all the movies, yo. They go a consistent weave, right? It's like they go ancient America, they go ancient Europe, they go ancient Iran. And so once you do it like that, it's like, all right, these people was in rule since them in all those places at the same time. Since all them places at the same time. Remember the lion that I showed y'all? It had hair just like this. Hair just like that. Let's go. I'm sorry, I mean the wine. High pitched voice or nothing, man. Just I should have been had this line up made already. There it is. Bomb. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there. Proof. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. So I'm in the chat though. I'm gonna let this be for a second while I mean yeah, boy. What you done? What you done? What you done? So that's consistent to Look, they got the damn catcher. They got the damn catcher. What the fuck? They trying to catch dragonflies. Catching buddy. Look. So that's the same thing as the Moors. That's the same thing as them going against the Moors or whatever. So that is this. I think this is good. This is a good lineup. It's a good lineup. So that's what happened to the Inca. So these people came from the ice wall. All right, let's rearrange it. Could it be that? It's an ice wall. Because it do say in the Bible that there some people will come from a land far away that you will know. And they'll speak a language that you wouldn't speak. Yeah, something like that. So let's look at it like this. Yeah. All right. Now, where we at? So, so why would people be at someone like that? One could ask. Why is why is there contempt at all? Hold on one second. Hmm. See that's that black mat. I mean that white mask. We've seen that before. The Oreos catch a stray for being their favorite best friend in all the movies and shit. Wow. That's Conan Part 1, Part 2, Red Sonja, Karate Kid, Kung Fu. Oh man. Reptilian. But kind of like a bird though. A bird with no wings, like a fallen angel. Where the wings was plucked out. The wings was plucked out. Mm-hmm. So you see that how the picture on the right, it showed a giant in the background with the two eyes. And then the picture on the left, it showed the giant holding up the boat with everybody on. You see that? And so there's the giant, and there's also them people that's on the boat with the insectoid. See that? There's the giant right there. Right. There's the giant's eyes right there. So look. That represent, that's an anamorphic symbology of the people who was really behind the scenes running the show. Excuse me. So see the resemblance, to see the similarity in these two pictures. They're saying the same thing. And as she's a creation, as these are creations, right? And so creating the creating the counterpart is what the gods is known for. Check out Shorty. This is American artifact. And this woman character with the breast, she creating a thing. Right. She creating something. Here you go, Babylon 5 talking about aliens. They say this is the Chitauri. Whole time the Chitauri is what the South Africans called the reptilian overlords who came and put man together. You see how they got them with the little things on top of their head like the predator? But the beast is the mutant. The mutant is the beast. Uh, here are artifacts. God bless and protect us, man. God know what to do. Look, here go artifacts. Look. What's that? What's that? This is ancient American artifacts. Right? That's showing the original ancient matriarchy that is, you know what I'm saying, hidden from the world. Ancient America does it to, you know, is the one with the greatest, you know what I'm saying, of the artifacts. Look at that. Ancient history was known, so people traveled around the world to come to learn from America. It was a secret place for a secret society of people who knew about it. And that's where the supreme knowledge was how the old ancestors what happened with the old ancestors. And so this is how Cain slew Abel. This is how Cain slew Abel. And, he used a woman according to this artwork here. And so he who was slain from the beginning, I don't know. I just emphasize that whole thing because it's Saturday. That's what we do on Saturdays. And for sizzle, rizzle. So who don't believe in that? There you go, right there. Proof that is true. You have the ancient Chinese and you have the ancient American. They both showing these big eyes, big, tall skull, big eyes, tall skull. His skull hidden under this headdress. So look, who the fuck with a phenotype like that, big old eyes like that, face like that, ears like that? Like, nobody know nobody that look like that. They letting you know that them grays ratchet, them joints is ratchet, them little elves with the crude boil cut. Look, a lot of history. Indo America is showing straight UFOs. The artifacts showing UFOs, artifacts showing whatever that is. Look, big nose. Got a little baby, a little alien baby. Who knows what they're trying to say? Look, yo grew up, bigger nose. Damn. Yo got older. It was a hybrid. Look at the nose on that one. Like, isn't that shit just up? Yeah, shit. He got the whole bridge. He got a nose. He got one of those noses. It's treachery, perhaps. This is what America got to offer. That's what America got to offer. That's one of them worms. Oh shit, look at that. Oh man, I ain't never see this. Oh shit. Hmm. Look at that. These worms, they got these worms got put together, man. So here go a concept of using an animal creature face to distort, just showing people of color. And so it's all the same. Like California Raisins, they was like a black blues group or some shit. And they're just Japan, just how Japan taught to this is what the Japan say about melanated people. Cartoons. Japanese with a blue and gold Scooby Doo emblem with the black dots, the black royal dots. Look, this is what they sent for, work for, right? This is what they asked for. Because they rich, make meat male, bunny hot. You know what I'm saying? Because they rich. So now that we got the anamorphic part of it all taken care of, when you see this image, you know that they was talking about people in different parts of the world. And so in doing so, you got the castle, the lion, and the dog-headed people. And these all were versions of melanated people depicted by non-melanated people. And these were symbols in which they had understood them as in their different sections in the world. So when you got the lion, it is what I was saying earlier about the lion. And when you got about the dog-headed people, it is what I'm saying now about it's not they necessarily really was dogs. It was just that white people had called them that to denote how ugly they was to the white people. And so then you have it to where, and they got a club in their hand. So the club stick mean that the most primitive, they're talking about Australian Aborigines. And then the Castile people is the ones where it's a concept, right? So they just being slick with it. And when it comes to what is color, that's not white. You could tell that the way they be doing things, it should be like, everything's always racist. Like racist, racist, racist. Like everything's only goddamn just, you know what I'm saying? Like the burden too heavy on the individual white man or white woman to look out for and stand out, or is it not? Like the aliens always was black-ish and aliens. There was always aliens and blackish. Here go the ancient Egyptian version of a insectoid bloodline. Isn't that interesting? The insectoid working with somebody. Look, the insectoid working with somebody. This is Nesra Jesra. This is supposed to be draining the swamp. Instead, man, they trying to hunt the kid down. They trying to beat him down with all the situations, man. But here's Jesra Nesra saying the same shit I'm saying, but without telling you what it means. Like, see, I'll tell you what it means. It means insectoid, black power, black dragons, reptilians underneath them, they create people. Here it is, reptilians underneath the matriarchal mantis. And what come from them? White girl, people. What come from them? Harry Potter. You know what I mean? And what they doing down here, look, started the whole shit with the robots. Everybody got their own little droid. Everybody got their own droid that serves them. And so that means that it's really this person here in the mantis. And they use the reptilian genes to manipulate themselves, these things. Right? So and it just show, look, they got the insectoid and the reptilian working together. Like how the predator is a mix between an insectoid and a reptilian because he has the mandibles of like an ant or some shit. So they'll rarely straight up tell you what the connection is between insectoids and people because it's like Black history. It's basically Black history. But they'll make movies where the alien got all type of legs and shit and look grotesque. You know what I mean? And so they trying to say that they primitive at their convenience. And so this is what this ancient rock art is explaining. This cave art, this rock art is explaining how there was an insectoid ancestry, a reptilian ancestry, and many things came from that. So when you see Hollywood saying, yeah, this shit work. You tracing melanin, because the concept of melanin exists amongst the insects first. It's probably with the plants first, but it's probably insects. And when you get to the blackface you find around Asia, even though there's no melanated people out there, they keeping the memory of them alive, because the people that's out there in Asia is a mix of a whole bunch of meatballs. Look at this yellow one. They go a white one. They go a green one. They go a red one. They go a purple one or a blue one. They go a real white one. They go a pea colored, pea green. They go some other type of humanoid hybrid. But the point is, right, is that you got all these different colors, right? They different type of people, different colors and things. You don't see it. I'm not retarded. Right. And so the leaders of all this is these people, right? The same green that Osiris was, right? And so when they saying Osiris is, defeated or whatnot, they really talking about these people as a nation, people, race, or bloodline. Because what happens to Osiris? His penis gets eaten by a fish. So it was difficulty connecting his bloodline or producing his bloodline. So Horus was made through some other means. Regardless, it's like these people are the ones that fell. When you see Newton Geb and you see the rise of Horus, or you see the rise of whoever, man. Y'all get the point. Anyways, look, black on black crime, hate from amongst the top, where now it's like it just so happened that they melanated. Otherwise, they just hate each other's guts, right? Because of whatever reason. And so they fight amongst themselves. And then they're using their soldiers to go to war for them. And that's what you're seeing in these different races. Is you seeing these people going to war for their masters. So I don't know, man. People should stop taking offense to things they don't really know all about. And so this guy, he got this on his chest, and people might think, why he got a swastika on his chest? Well, he talking about things dealing with things other than what the swastika, the Nazis, is known for, like this cave paintings, these rock walls. So over Drew Ali, he started that situation, that type of knowledge having, where they say that he went around the world. Well, he went across the Atlantic to other places in the world. He went around the world, gathered information, came back with heat, and basically he was killed for it because the government wanted to control it, the information that come out. And so he had information that he was sitting on, so to speak, and it was stolen after his mysterious happenings. So the man that came and started the Canaan temple, basically Moorish Science Temple inherited it, was changed to this name. Noble Drew Ali took it over. So it was Canaan Temple. It was made by this man named Ahmad Suleiman. There's no pictures of him though. There's like one picture of him. So then you get it to where it's like, well, then who was, how they got all these pictures for everything else, but when it comes to Hamid Suleiman, they just got maybe two pictures of him. So either way, he mysteriously disappears. And then Noble Drew Ali take over, call it the Moorish Science Temple. And then something mysteriously happens to him. And then WD Fard create the Nation of Islam. And then something mysteriously happens to him. And then Elijah Poole changed his name to Elijah Muhammad. And he started to, and then he Nation of Islam. And then Malcolm X joined the Nation of Islam in prison. And that's how the prison gangs and Muslims go hand in hand with prison, right? So the thing about Muslims is that they see it's okay. They think it's okay to have, not all Muslims, but the concept that I'm talking on here is using Islam as a code to hide from the government, but at the same time, they working for the government and with the government, even though they might not even know it. So the people that's in higher up charge, anyways, Malcolm, right? He started up in prison, and then so Malcolm ended up leaving the Nation of Islam. He found out it was phony, and then he ended up getting killed mysteriously. You know what I mean? Something happened to him, and so then Brother 13X, he left the Nation of Islam because of what they did to Brother Malcolm, and he called it the 5% Nation. And then the 5% Nation is with became a category like Kemetic-ism or Hebrew-isms and all that type of things, where it became expresses a thought where people was looking for identity. But 5% Nation was a way of life and culture. Like, it wasn't even like a religion. So it's just like, I ain't gonna say it dissolved, but it carried the torch, whatever the torch was from the Nation of Islam that they took from Brother Noble Drew Ali. And they left because what they did to Brother Malcolm, which is righteous. And so the 5% Nation would be the end part to that whole experiment, the exhaust to that engine going, right? And it's not, I don't know, not in a negative way, but exhaust probably sounds negative. But 5% Nation is really positive. And it's just that they come from the creativity of the people. It shows the genius, and it shows just how much of the narrative people don't need to have ideas that make sense and are positive influence on the youth. And so, there's only one God, and that's the God of Israel. And I don't think that Islam has anything to do positive, even though people have met others and have created a community praising Allah. But you ain't never heard President Trump say, thank you, Heavenly Father, but you have heard him say praise to Allah. Like, even if he typed it in a post, he did say it. So the point is, right, is that how you gonna say that Allah is original and deserve all this credit because of the fancy words, when Allah is originally Hebrew? So the main reason why Noble Drew Ali existed was to deflect from an Israelite origin. And Islam is like a mask. It's like a covering. They rather call people Moors rather than call them Israelites, because then they're going to have to explain. They're going to have to explain them castles. And we know the Muslims like teepees. I didn't like that last part. My bad. Muslims don't like teepees. See, the Nation of Islam didn't explain. The Nation of Islam didn't explain the crescent and star and what all that mean. That's some new cult shit. Whenever you take an ancient symbol and you throw your own meaning onto it, asking people to donate, who is these people sitting right next to the man? Who is these ultra light-skinned, somewhat rotund, round, high, rich? They got the nice suits. They got the nice suit swag. You know what I mean? Everybody else don't got them suits. They up there with the man, the man, Noble Drew Ali. I ain't gonna say nothing about that. But this is the point right here, man. Is that first you got nah, don't go back. I was just putting them pictures there, man. It don't matter. I ain't trying, you know what I mean? I ain't going to say nothing negative toward him. You know what I'm saying? Here it is where well, listen, man, there's all type of people. All you gotta do is say if they had claimed to be Jesus. That's it. Then we ain't gotta get into that. This is supposed to be Prince Hall. It's a holographic projection made by this shadow being over here. It's not a shadow being, it's a being in the shadows. Then from Prince Hall, you got the Church of Saints in Christ, made by a man who had a dream that he was of the children of Israel. And that, you know what I'm saying, the 12 tribes was black people, basically. He's the first to do it in the 1700s. So then in the 1800s, this guy, he come over from Africa and say that the Prince Hall Freemasons ain't got what it take. I mean, that the white European Freemasons ain't got what it take. And he was going to give the truth to the Prince Hall Freemasons. And so then you had Noble Joy Lee come from what he did. This is Amir Suleiman. This is the man that created Canaan Temple. Canaan Temple was later transformed to Moorish Science Temple of America. But before that, it was Canaan land with the Israelite. So once again, right, Islam always come in afterwards trying to come up and tell people about Islam when that's bullshit. All this ain't been nothing but a distraction. Look at this shit. This is some bullshit. Who would call him a lot of play? It's some bullshit, boy. Bullshit, boy. So look, he can't. We don't know where he from. This is the only picture they got of him. It's like he a legend, and then they don't know where he went. Like he disappeared. They don't know how you know what I mean? What happened to him is conspiracy, right? It's a whole thing. But these two was caught up in a human sacrifice. This man was funded by the Japanese. And the Japanese was known for scamming Black African Americans, promising them land and wives in Japan if they put down the evil, racist white man regime in America. This was before World War II. So there's a lot of reasons why they put them Japanese in concentration camps they're not telling people about. But the Yakuza, the Black Dragons, all of them had a presence here in the Americas. So check it. They probably still, you know what I mean? The European Freemasons still got the Shadow Khan Lodge where they worship the demon blades made by the Japanese. So here's some covers of this Noble Drew Ali Moorish Science Temple. A lot of occult symbolism and stuff like this. Just before they had TV and shit. Look, founder of the old Canaanite temple. So here it is where that green represent green witchcraft, what they call in other places green witchcraft. Green witchcraft is basically nature element observation science. And when you look at these ancient cave paintings, they also is saying about a nature elemental science that's going on. And this picture, right, with this black and this white together, is the earliest version of what we see here. Isn't that awesome? And so once again, proving that America has some of the oldest teachings illustrated, whether on statue or on cave paintings, cave rock. Like they got some old stuff. And so I believe the stories that America was a place where ancient people came to learn. Right? David Icke, the one that said that. He said that ancient Americans came, ancient people from around the world came to America when they was initiated into a certain degree. They'll have their images carved on stone and thrown in a pile. And what they found in the Rock Creek back caves is that pile of rocks. And there's some cave paintings and shit that they got. So look at this. This is some heads that they draw together. Even in modern time, they use this imagery. Even in modern time, they pair them together like this. Right? That's a concept. So this is the same thing. And so now you understand they got many layers, or many different ways that they could be saying this. But that's what they're essentially saying, that you have the original man in this interaction with the new, with the most up-to-date version of, with the experimental, right? It's the original autonomous beings, their bloodlines interacting with the new additions, right? The new creations, summonings, conjurings, manifestations, creations, manufacturings, whatever. But it's the yin and yang still. Right? It's still the yin and yang. And so here go the universal language works in the world. And so man as a worm. Look at all the detail in Africa. Look at this. It's that same thing. It's the same thing. That's why they do it like this. It's the same thing. Look. So yeah, Hollywood definitely been doing not only melanated people, but Aboriginal American people in history down bad or real bad over the years. Over the years, it's not even funny the way that they do things and make money, and they disrespectful the whole time. They disrespectful the whole time. So Steven Spielberg, the man who made this ET, just recently made a movie called Disclosure Day, and it was a bunch of hype. And he had the damn aliens, they wasn't all the way white. You know what I mean? It's like they always making the aliens black or non-whites or some shit because they talking about all the time, and it's like real human history. that predate test tubian overpopulation numbers and demographics. This is the Klingons from Star Trek. When they first started, they had white men wearing basically blackface and imitate Asiatic black men, which you would hear from the Nation of Islam, which you heard from Noble Drew Ali, was the Asiatic black man. And so they stole from Noble Drew Ali to push everything they got. Everything they got came from Noble Drew Ali vaults. And so, because W.D. Farr and Elijah Poole wasn't speakers before, they wasn't nobodies. They wasn't nobodies. So how they start a religion out of nowhere? Government agent. We got pictures of them talking to white people. We know what time it is. Look, there's people in Africa that still got these same traditions to remember the past, to remember some old shit. That's what everybody do it for. Look, that's like a Buddha statue right there. That's like a Buddha statue right there. Look, in the movies, look, they made these flat-headed, remember the flat-headed reptilians? They made them fucked up for real. Like, shit. Look, Alien Mind. Louis Gossett Jr. played a reptilian from the Drac Nation. They was in the star system longer than the Americans, but they were fighting over minerals and shit. Look, he was a Muslim too. They made him like he was Muslim. He had this little religion, and they gargled their throats and shit. And it looked like they were saying some Arabic or nonsense. So then here it is. Not Arabic nonsense, but just some Muslim type. You gotta see the movie, yeah. So here it is where it's like, that was just, that's a racial / religious overtone that's also talking about antiquity genetic codes that's connected to the people that Louis Gossett Jr., the actor under all that makeup, is a part of. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, here go a movie with a white dude and a black dude, but better yet, make it where the black dude is playing the oldest version of black dudes. And he'll represent for the ancient black dude bloodline instead of the common day African American black dude. You see? Get him to play it though. Yeah, that's basically what it is. Look. Like, this man is green. This one is green. The pigmentation from everything from plant reptilians. Look, it's just not nothing pale. It's always some dark. Like, this is a damn roly poly of some of the first type of little things. Look, that's crazy, dog. That's racist, man. Steven Spielberg ain't shit. That shit like Taraji P. Henson in that bitch. Damn. Baby boy 7. Look, don't forget. Hey, look, check this out. Admiral Akbar. Now, how the fuck his name Akbar? Allahu Akbar. Like, look, he'll throat gargling, spit all in his throat. When he talk, sound like he groggy and shit. Nasty. Allahu Akbar. Admiral Akbar. He happened to be a fish slash, what is he? He a catfish slash frog? Meatball. Look, this is a cartoon. I grew up on this one. Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. They used to just cancel shit. You just ain't see it no more. You ain't know if it was coming back or not. Now you get the headline, like they canceled the show. It won't be renewed next season. Back in the days, they just tortured kids with reruns. Man, I wish there was a new episode. Well, I saw a new episode now. A new episode. Look, ancient black reptilians. Now, is they going to say Anunnaki? No, they're not going to say the Anunnakis. Melanated people. No, they're not going to say that. They're going to say the Moor, right? They're going like, he a Muslim turtle, though. He a turtle for Allah. He got the Quran, turtle shell Quran and shit. You got the turtle shell for the hairline. That is crazy. Who the fuck came up with this shit? Dead ass serious the whole time. It was a white man playing blackface. See, even in the eyes, they white. They fuck up. They should have got Louis Gossett Jr. to play that shit. That's crazy though. They dead ass serious and shit. There ain't no black people in the movie. Look, Jabba the Hutt, fat brown worm. Yeah. Fat brown worm rubbing up all on a damn white girl. Rubbing up on the white girl with the red cheeks. See, she got the red cheeks. Oh, she's. The red cheeks, they represent these girls here. See the red cheeks? That's Korea. They racist as hell. Look, this Mongolia. Mongolia with the red dots on their face. Look at that elaborate shit. That show you Siberia older than the rest of them people, man. That the Mongolians look. The further north you get, the older the ancestors come from them people. So Siberia technically above Mongolia, and that the further up you get, the more of a reindeer they're gonna be riding on top of. So now look, this is the so-called Moor slave trader pimp in the background with these white women. Look. To this day, to the day that they got this shit, this picture was probably early 1900s. They've been doing this slave trade with these women with the red dot on their cheeks. See that? Pimping. Pimping, pimping, pimping. Pimping. Yeah. So look, them Eskimos, the people that live in cold places, they representing their ancestry. They talking about the same people that the Matamoros is a part of. This is Matamoros, Mask of Moros. And so these are the people that went in and went to war with the so-called black people of the land. And look what they got on their face. Their war mask is a damn red dot mustache meatball. So look, that's the white mask, right? This shit is mockery. This shit is mockery of the black man and woman. Because look, this Marta Moros too. So who's this? What's this? This is the people that went against the Moors, so called. So what's their connection with Asia? One might ask. The women is noted to be everywhere. Like, look, this is ancient India. They got the black man, they got the white girl, Native American, black man, white girl, China, black man, white girl, Hollywood, black man, white girl. So, look, that shit is just wild. You just see the pattern all the time in these different versions of civilization and place. It's just like, what is they saying? Is they saying the same story, or are these just the clues that we need to follow to see that this shit is somehow set up? Look, the man is a beast, and the woman is she a Mongolian? She a Mongolian or some shit like that. It's wild how they made her breast like that for a kid show. And I thought that shit was inappropriate. But go to Crescent and Star right there, Muslims. So the Muslims can't answer for that shit when the time is necessary. Why they rock that Crescent and Star, though that it's found in Mongolia, right? The Mongolian flag. Y'all know what that is? All the Muslims, prepare yourself. So here go the flag for Mongolia. So can somebody explain? Can somebody explain why it is a crescent moon and star here? And why the same thing is used by so-called Muslims? Sure, you said, have you ever read the book made by Alice Getty, The Gods of Northern Buddhism? Nah, how'd that go? Tell me about it. I'm all ears. We're wrapping this up. So just here's some depictions that people might not have been able to see. I call this more of a Nubian era in Egyptian art. And it shows a really ancient, probably the oldest before the Egyptians in Egypt. And they're just well preserved in the swag. It predate what you see in the Egypt a lot. And if you notice, they got this dark, almost like a blue green or something. This very interesting color that they got here. So it could just be green. I'm tripping. But this is color shown, and it's not necessarily a black skin tone. Though I'm not saying that that's not what it means. At the same time, I'm also not saying that that's what it means. It could be exactly that color. The point is, right, is that this is an ancient antiquity, at least like 4,000 years old by racist narrative standards. So 6,000 years old by racist narrative standards. So it could definitely be older than that. And so when they do things like this, they really is taking imagery that's got to do with ancient tellings and mixing it in with some bullshit. To tell a story. To tell a story. If y'all ain't see the Urbano Monte map, go check it out. Urbano Monte map under the David Rumsey collection. That's David Rumsey collection. And this is the end. Look, that's what is that? Kanekwe. The Kanekwe. I don't know what that is. Computer. What's Caneques?
Kanaks are the indigenous Melanesian inhabitants of New Caledonia. The word derives from Hawaiian kanaka, meaning person, and was francised as Kanak.
Where exactly is that called today?
New Caledonia lies in the southwest Pacific Ocean, about 750 kilometers east of Australia and 220 kilometers southwest of Vanuatu, at roughly 21 degrees south, 165 degrees east. Its main island is Grande Terre and the capital is Noumea.
So that's Melanesia. That's Olmec. There's a stronger connection Americans have with the Pacific Islanders than with Aboriginal Americans, than with, well, I don't know. But there's a strong connection with the Pacific Islanders, with the American population. Um, there's talk that the Australian Aborigines made it to South America thousands of years before the colonialists. And so, what you see here in Asia, as elaborate as Asians are, they did come after the Americans, and you can tell by their artwork and the antiquity thereof. We need people like Praveen Mohan to be a little more honest and genuine and stop being a nationalist over science. Because Praveen Mohan has potential to do great works, but he's only focused on Indian nationalism. And when it comes to the American artifacts, say Garuda, he said that the Americans got it from them, but instead the Americans is the source of the Garuda concept. To this day, the Mexicans got a bird with a cactus that used to be a snake. Anyways, that's it. That's it, man. Dun, 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 dun. Was that 3 hours? No, it was 2 hours and 21 minutes. Great job. Great job. Shrew says, have you heard about Chris Evans and Mike Coulter? Apparently, in the set, they called Captain America Luke Cage. I think they're trying to tell us something. No, I don't know anything about it. Captain America, huh? Yeah, Luke Cage was one of the few African American solo artists, if you will. Like you had Storm with the X-Men. She always was with the X-Men since 1952, when the first X-Men issue was released, and then so she always was an African queen, African goddess that got that went to the Xavier, like real shit. Like I don't know, son. Like it's just everybody else was a mutant, but Uhura was a damn goddess for real. So she was fucking around with the instead of being in Africa, she was fucking around with the X-Men, you know. And either way, though, Luke Cage was a solo artist. He came out with as a teammate first. He was with this guy named I forgot his name. I want to say something Punch. Computer. Who did Luke Cage originally have as a partner?
Luke Cage's original partner was his first love interest, Reva Connors, who appeared in his debut series. She was introduced as his girlfriend before his imprisonment and tragic death.
Computer. I mean, the comic book Luke Cage character came out as a duo originally.
Luke Cage launched solo in Luke Cage, Hero for Hire #1, June 1972. He didn't appear as a duo until Iron Fist joined the series in 1978. Want to learn more about how Iron Fist joined Luke Cage in their comic book adventures?
Yeah.
Iron Fist jumped into Luke Cage's series in 1978, appearing in Power Man number 48 to 50 to rescue both titles from cancellation. The book then retitled Power Man and Iron Fist and launched their Heroes for Hire partnership. Their partnership lasted through the 1980s. Want to know what adventures they had together?
No. So.
Got it. No more on that.
So, Iron Fist was the name of the guy, and it was corny. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing really interesting. To tell you the truth, the realest storyline in comic books ever is the X-Men storyline. The X-Men storyline hit its zenith in the early 1990s. Late 80s was the cook up, but the early 1990s is when both storyline and artist became revolutionary. The type of printing paper they had, the type of ability to make graphics, holograms, those things really started to take to really hit his peak with the advance of technology. It became the advance of more colorful comics, more illustrated comics, more realistic comics. When you look at early comic books, they was made out of paper that was like cardboard or like really recycled paper, really cheap paper. The colors might have been dull, you know what I'm saying? But with the 90s, you had it where they was getting into printing like a plastic or like a embossed type situation, you know what I mean? And so you would get like, let's say Spider-Man had a series where all the covers had a hologram on it, but the stories was mad thin, and sometimes it would be a thick ass book. It'd be bullshit though, and so you really bought it. You really bought it because of the hologram in the cover, right? But X-Men delve into things. There was other things that delved into shit, like Silver Surfer delved into reptilians and Atlantis. Like they pretty much all did eventually was do something dealing with some characters in Atlantis. You had reptilian beings. They all was technological. You had big headed characters. But then X-Men started to talk about time travel, giant robots, and there was this one character from the X-Men called the Sentinel, and the Sentinel was able to he had like a giant version of Sentinel that made all the other Sentinels. And so that Sentinel had time traveled back from the past and started to merge with another Sentinel to create another Sentinel, which was this man who didn't know that he was both Sentinels inside him. And so it was a whole thing that was basically dealing with the color pink and the concept of a pink slime robot. Whereas that's pretty much what Majin Buu is. You know what I'm saying? And so Majin Buu is a pink slime robot that is basically almost indestructible. And it is basically the epitome of what could happen when artificial intelligence is dealt with. And so Majin Buu represents ultimate intelligence. So that the Majin Buu represent basically one of the terrible scenarios of artificial intelligence dealing with cyborgs and all that type of stuff, man. Miss Dawn, peace to you, Queen. Salutes. That's cool. That's cool. We out though, man. Y'all have a great day though.